morning all of you. Hope you all are well in your home. Today we are going to learn a new poem that is titled as A Song of a Dream by Sarojini Naidu. So here today we are going to learn a poem that is Song of a Dream by Sarojini Naidu. So let's come to the author profile of Sarojini Naidu. Here it is. Sarojini Naidu, 13th February 1879 to 2 March 1949, also known as the Nightingale of India, was an activist of the freedom movement in India. Her major contributions in the field of poetry were beautiful poems that could also be sung. Her famous works include The Golden Threshold, The Bard of Time, The Broken Wing, and The Spectre Flute. So she is known as the Nightingale of India. That is about the author Sarojini Naidu. Here comes the poem Song of a Dream. So look at the page. Song of a Dream. I'll read it for you. Once in the dream of a night I stood, lone in the light of a magical wood, saw deep in visions that poppy-like sprang, and spirits of truth were the birds that sang, and spirits of love were the stars that glowed, and spirits of peace were the streams that flowed in that magical wood in the land of sleep. This is the first stanza. Then the second stanza. Lone in the light of that magical grove, I felt the stars of the spirits of love gather and gleam round my delicate youth, and I heard the song of the spirits of truth. To quench my longing, I bent me low by the streams of the spirits of peace that flow in that magical wood in the land of sleep. So here the poem Song of a Dream. Let's come to the poem in detail. Through this poem, Sarojini Naidu, our poetess, just describe her dream world that is full of truth, love and peace. These three qualities are there, and her longing is to live in such a world that include truth, love and peace. So let's go through the poem in detail. Look at the first stanza all. Once in the dream of a night I stood, lone in the light of a magical wood. So in this poem, the first two lines, she dreamt of a magical wood, magical land in her sleep. That is, lone in the light of a magical wood. She is alone. Lone means she is alone in the magical wood, magical world. Saw deep in visions that poppy-like sprang. Poppy means as a flower. It's a flower. Poppy is a flower. So her soul deep in visions. She is in the world of dreams. So many thoughts, many visions are there in her mind, in her soul. Soul deep in visions that poppy-like sprang, and her mind, her visions, her mind, her soul is just jumped like a poppy flower. Poppy is a flower, so her mind is just jumped like a flower. And spirits of truth were the birds that sang. In that dream she could hear the sound, the song of birds. That was the spirit of truth. And spirits of love were the stars that glowed, and she could see the spirit of stars that is glowed, that shined on the sky. The spirit of peace were the streams that flowed, and also she could hear the sound of peace, how through a flowing stream. In that magical wood in the land of sleep, all these visions of truth, love and peace just came in her mind in a dream. Come to the second stanza all. Lone in the light of that magical grove, I felt the stars of the spirits of love gather and gleam round my delicate youth, and I hear the song of the spirit of truth. To quench my longing, I bent me low by the streams of the spirit of peace that flow in that magical wood in the land of sleep. So come to the second stanza in detail. Lone in that light. Lone means alone. Lone in that light of that magical grove. Grove is like a garden, small plants are there, shrubs, all those things. Lone in the light of that magical grove. So again she is in the magical world. I felt the stars of spirit of love. She could feel both the spirits of love is there in her dream. Gather and gleam. Gather means just a surrounded or collect. Gather and gleam. Gleam as powerful, mean is powerful. Gather and gleam round my delicate youth. Delicate means a beautiful youth. So the stars of love, the spirit of love just gather there, just surrounded around her delicate youth. And I heard the song of the spirits of truth. She could hear the sound of what? The spirit of truth. To quench means to stop the thirst. To quench means to satisfy the thirst or fulfill the thirst. To quench my longing. Longing is desire. To quench my longing, I bent me low. She wanted to quench. She wanted to stop her thirst. What is her thirst? She wanted to live in a peaceful world. The lovely, the peaceful, the truthful life. She wanted to lead such a life. So she wanted to quench my longing, I bend me low by the streams of the spirit of peace that flow in the magical wood in the land of sleep. So what does the poem mean? Sarojini Naidu in this poem, Song of a Dream, tells us that what she is in a magical world. She dreamt of a world. She is in a dream world. She wanted to get rid of all the injustice in her world, in her life. So she desired to live in a place where full of what? Truth, love, peace, all these things are fulfilled. So here, first stanza again. Once in the dream of a magical world. So she just stand in that magical world, where in that dream world, that is her country. Then she is alone there. She is alone. Alone means alone there, and all the things, three qualities are mainly described here. That is truth, love and peace. Three qualities are there. That is truth, peace and love. Truth, love and peace. She wanted to get rid of all the injustice in the world, and she wanted to lead such a life that is full of truth, love and peace. So that is our poem, what? Song of a Dream. And just to go through in detail, many poetic devices are used here in this poem. That is simile, metaphor, personification, alliteration, all those things. You remember in the last class we learned alliteration. You remember that? Yes, very good. So come to the textual activities now. Page number 56 all. Let's revisit and enjoy the poem. Come to the first question. In her dream, the poet stood in a magical wood. So we understood that what in the opening stanza, in the beginning of the stanza, she is in a dream world, in a magical wood. Have you ever been to a land of imagination in your dream? Share it with your friends. That is very individual. The question is very individual to you. That is, what is the question? Have you ever been to a land of imagination? Have you ever been in a land of imagination in your dream? If it is yes or no, you can write the answer. Come to the second question. What are the spirits of speech, truth and love compared to? In this poem, we learn that the spirit, the three qualities like truth, love and peace is just described to or compared to something. So write it there. Then the third question, why are the spirits of truth compared to birds that sing? Here in this poem, Sarojini Naidu, our poet, compare the spirits of truth into the birds that sing, the singing bird. Why? Right there, the answer. Now come to the next question, the fourth one. What does the poet compare the soulful visions to? Comment. Here, the poet compare her soulful or soul deep visions into something. So, how she compared or what she compared to? Soul visions, soul deep visions are compared to something. So, read the text, read the poem again and write the answer there. Now the fifth question, what do the spirits of love do? Here she said that the spirits of love do something. What is that? Come to the next, the sixth one. How does the poet quench her longing? We understood that our poet is longing. Her desire is to quench all the thirst. Thirst is there in her mind. She wanted to fulfill it. So how does the poet quench her longing? How she stop her thirst? The last question, the seventh question, what is the magical wood referred to here? Here the magical wood or the magical world is referred to something. Actually, what is that? Write the answer there. Read the poem again and again. Then come to let's revisit and reflect. Next part of our questions. The first one, discuss the relevance of Sarojini Naidu's dream in the present scenario. Very useful question, very effective question. What is the question? A relevant question. Discuss the relevance of Sarojini Naidu's dream. What is her dream? She wanted to live in a place or country or world. They are full of love, truth and peace. Then what is the relevance of these points in our present era or present scenario? That is the question. So write it in a paragraph. Then the activity. Come to the activity, the first activity. Read the poem again and pick out nouns and verbs and write them in the circles. Add a word or words to describe each. So you can see a table there. What is there in the table? Noun and verb is there. You can select nouns and verb from the poem and fill the table. You can see some bubbles there, so you can fill it. How? Take an example, the first one. Clear is given there. In the bubble you can see what? In the circle, stream. Then next part is empty. So you have to fill it. What you fill there? As an example, read the question. I'll read the question once again. Read the poem again and pick out nouns and verbs and write them in the circle. So you have to select what? Noun or verb from the poem and you have to fill it. The first one is clear. Then in the circle, in the bubble, you can see what? Stream. Stream is a noun, so you have to fill it. The next space is empty, so you have to fill it. Like that, complete the table. Now come to the next page. I'll read the question again. Now let's write sequence. about the words in the circles or about any persons you like, following this pattern. What is cinquain? You can see in the side a box. There we can see the definition of a cinquain. Cinquain is a short poem of 5 lines with the following pattern. So what is cinquain? It is a short poem including 5 lines. So you remember haiku. What is haiku? Yes, a poem or Japanese verse in 3 lines. So here cinquain is a short poem including 5 lines. So let's go through in detail how we write these 5 lines. The first line, line 1, that is a word or noun. So the cinquains, just the format is there for writing cinquain. The first line should be a word or a noun. So the first line of cinquain should be a word or a noun. Then line 2, the second line is a description about that word or noun. Then the third line is an action. Third line is an action. Then the fourth line, some statements about the subject. Then the fourth line should be some subject about the topic, the noun or the word. Then the last line, the subject expressed in other words, and how we can, in other words, we can explain or describe the noun or word that we just put forward in the first line. Now, it was invented by Adelaide Crabtree, taking inspiration from Japanese haiku, short poem of 3 lines. 17 syllables, and tanga, poem of 5 lines and 31 syllables. So here cinquain is a short poem including 5 lines. Then line 1 should be a word or a noun. Then second line should be a description. Then third line should be an action. Then fourth line should be some statements about the subject, and the fifth line should be an other detailed about what the subject, that is the word or a noun. Now come to the question again. You have to write a cinquain about whom, about any person that you like, and here you can select or use the pattern a noun. Your topic should be a noun, a person or a word. Then 2 words describing the noun. You can select a noun to write the poem. Example what? Anything, a flower, anything, a person's name, anything. Then 2 words describing the noun. Then you can, in second line, you can describe the noun 2 words, in 2 words, not in lines, 2 words. Then 3 words showing what the noun does. Then you can write 3 words, in 3 words what the noun consists of, or showing what the noun shows. Then the 4th one, a short phrase about the noun. A phrase, you know what is a phrase? Combination of some or 2 words, 2 or more words, a phrase. Then another word synonymous with the noun, and you write another synonymous, similar words about the noun. Here we can see an example. Friend. Friend is a noun, friend. Then sweet, truthful, that qualified 2 descriptions or describing words about the friend, that is sweet and truthful. Then 3 words, the third line consists of 3 words, that is helping, that qualifies a friend, helping, caring, guiding. Then the last, the 4th line, always like a shade with us, that we can see a phrase. First a noun or a word, next 2 words that describe a noun or a word, then the third line consists of 3 words that is also express his qualities, the qualities of the noun or word. Then the 4th line, a phrase, combination of words. Then the last one, friend, another synonymous word for the title or the noun or word, that is love. So you have to prepare what? A cinquain based on your topic, that may be what? A noun or a word. Here come to activity 2. Identify the key moments in the poem. So you have to identify the key moments. What are the important moments in the poem? one point is given there. You can see that the poet dreams of being in a magical wood. First, in our first stanza, the poet is she dreams of a magical wood. Now you can write what are the next things. What are the next things? She consider all those visions are like truth, qualities like truth, love and peace is what she consider that. So like that throughout two stanza, I read the poem again and again, just point out here what are the key moments, important things, important moments in the poem. Now go to the third activity. Read the expression magical wood. What picture comes you to your mind? Discuss in groups and describe the picture. Draw the picture in your own way. So when you hear the word magical wood, what comes in your mind at first? When you hear the word magical wood, what comes in your mind? So you just take a piece of paper and draw it. Try to draw what is magical wood. When you hear the word, what comes in your mind? Just draw a picture. Then the poet is giving a clear picture of a magical wood using words. So here, by reading the poem again and again, we can clear out, we can draw a picture of magical wood in our mind, isn't it? Yes. So such words, pictures are called imagery. So an important thing is here, that is imagery. Imagery. In the last class you heard, in 8th standard you learned what is imagery. There are many, or there are variety of imagery, that is visual, auditory, olfactory, all those things. So here many imaginaries are there used in this poem, Song of a Dream. Here we are going in detail. Imagery, you can see there in page number 57 a pink box. So did you see that? Yes, I'll read it. Language that makes a people imagine pictures in their minds. They appeal to our sense of sight, sound, taste, touch and smell, and help us form a mental picture. So let's read it again. Imagery, language that makes a people imagine picture in their minds. They appeal to our sense of sight, sound, taste, touch and smell, and help us form a mental picture. So what is imagery? By reading this definition, what do you understand? What is an imaginary? What is an imagery? That is, an imagery is what? A language, a type of language through which we can get a feel of watch it or see it, then hear it, smell it, touch it, all those things. So sensory, we can get a sensory feel, that is imagery. By reading some lines, by reading a type of language, by reading some lines and words, we get the feeling of seeing it, smelling it, hearing it, touching it and tasting it. That is imagery. Here Sarojini Naidu in this poem Song of a Dream used various imageries. Then come to next page. You can see a box there, visual images. Visual images. Visual means vision is what we see is visual, pictures. So pick out the images of sight. What we can by reading this poem, what are the pictures that comes in our mind as seeing or sight, regarding to sight, that is visual. Here what are the things? Magical wood. First point is magical wood. By reading this magical wood, you can create a picture in your mind by seeing it. So that is visual images. So list out what are the other imageries, visual imageries used in her poem. Now come to B question. Form different groups and identify significant scenes in the poem which can be used for presenting a tableau. Perform it in groups. It's not possible today or now in this period. So we can do it in the class again. So now come to activity 4. A few poetic devices are given below. Write them against their correct meaning given in column B, then complete column C. So you have to prepare what? You have to fill this table there. Simile, metaphor, personification and alliteration. So these are the fourth main poetic devices especially used in poems. Which are they? Simile, metaphor, personification and alliteration. I think you are familiar of these four. What is simile? It's a comparison, indirect comparison. Simile is a comparison which can express in a word that is like or as. Simile, we can identify the simile, the usage of simile by reading what or by finding out words like and as. Then what is metaphor? Metaphor is a direct comparison about something to something. Then personification is also a poetic device. In this device, by using this device, we can give life to non-living things. Then what is alliteration? No way to forget it. Alliteration, yes, it's a repetition of the consonant sound in a same line of the poem. That is alliteration. So I'll read it for you, the table. In the first A, poetic devices. You can select the poetic devices from here and write the appropriate one in the column. Then what they stand for, here you can see the explanation of each and every poetic devices. A direct comparison of two unlike things using like or as. What is a direct comparison of two unlike things using like or as? So it's a poetic device. So you have to write what is the poetic device that is a direct comparison, that compare directly by using the words like or as. So you have to write the first column there. Then examples from the poem, and if you identify this, you have to write what? The example of the lines, example of the appropriate poetic device from the poem, and write it here. Then the second, a direct comparison between unlike things starting that one is the other or does the action of other. I'll read it again. A direct comparison between unlike things. It's also a direct comparison of unlike things, stating that one is the other or does the action of other. That stating one is the action of the other. And write it there, and also the example from the poem. Then the third point, repeated consonant sounds at the beginning of words in the same line. No way to forget it. Repetition or repetition of the consonant sound in the same line of the poem. So write it in the first column, the name of that, and in the last column you have to write the example taken from the poem. Then the last one, giving human traits and qualities to an inanimate object. Inanimate means not animate. They can't move or non-living things. So giving an human traits for a non-living things, we just add or we just give about the qualities of moving, the qualities of human beings. So what is the poetic device? And just write the example from the poem. Now come to next, the activity 5. Answer the following questions. You can also see there a table, two columns are there, A and B. Then first column include all the questions and the second answers. I'll read the first question. Do you like the poem? Why? Very simple question. What is the question? Do you like the poem of Sarojini Naidu's Song of a Dream? Why? Then the second, What is the theme of the poem? Pick out a line in support of your answer. So what is the next question? What is the theme of the poem? Some theme is there. A theme is there of the poem. So pick out the line in support of your answer. You write the theme of the poem and you just write the example for that. Why you select this as a theme. Then the third question, what in your opinion is the dramatic situation of the poem? What is the question? In your opinion, what is the dramatic situation of the poem? What is a dramatic situation? Then the fourth one, which line do you like the most? Why? Very simple question. Which line you like most and what is the reason for that? Then the fifth question, what messages does the poem convey? And you write what are the messages. This poem just telling us or convey us many messages. So what are the messages this poem convey? Then the sixth question is, how is the title of the poem related its theme? What is the question? How is the title of the poem related to its theme? What is the title of her poem? Song of a Dream. So how this title is connected to the poem? That is the question and write the answer. Then the last question there, the seventh question, what attitude of the poet is revealed in the poem? So by reading this poem, what is the attitude of the poet is revealed here? That is the last question. So you have to write all these answers in your notebook. Now you can see a question, B question, that is what? Write an appreciation of the poem in 8th standard onwards. In 8th standard onwards, you just learned how to write the appreciation. Here you can see about how to write an appreciation in a detailed way. Very well. You may get ideas from the sample guidelines below. So you can see a box there, how to write an appreciation of the poem. The first thing, you know, everyone know, first what we write in the first, before writing an appreciation of the poem, what you write, what is the main point you write? Yes, just give an intro, introduction. Here the first point is introduction. And introduction, we can write the introduction in two ways, that is about the author. First you write or open at the beginning of the appreciation, you can write an intro about the author or the poet. So that is about the poet. Then the main theme, then you can write in intro what the theme of the poem, so keep it in your mind that the first, in the beginning of writing an appreciation, the first paragraph, it should be a intro about the author and a theme of the poem. Next, literal meaning, that is paraphrasing. Then you come to the meaning of the poem, line by line meaning of the poem, that is literal meaning, paraphrasing, just explain it, describe it, what is there in the poem. Then imagery, that we learned just now, what imagery, what is imagery? Yes, we can get, by reading the poem, reading some lines, we get the feeling of what? Seeing it, that is watching it, touching it, smelling, all those things. So sensory feeling is there. So you have to write the imagery, that is images, especially the images, the pictures. Then their meaning, pictures and their meaning, what the picture tells to us. Then lyrical qualities. Lyrical qualities mean sound, rhymes, alliteration, etc. Here, lyrical qualities. Lyric, you know, lines of the poem. Then what are the qualities of these lyrics or lines? How we write, what they sound or how they sound. Then rhymes. The line rhymes. So the next point is figurative meaning. Figurative meaning, that is the poetic devices like simile, metaphor, personification, etc. Figurative meaning means all these poetic devices. You must include it in your appreciation. Then messages conveyed or justification. Then you write, don't forget to write what are the messages conveyed in this poem, and just explain it, just justify the answer, your points. Then at last you give a conclusion, evaluation of the poem, just evaluate the poem. Then come to the next page. First you write the appreciation, then evaluate. You include all these points in your appreciation. How you can check it? A box is there, based on this you can check it. The first point is the theme of the poem is clearly introduced. Make sure that you introduce the theme of the poem very clearly. Then 3 grades are there: needs improvement, satisfactory, well done. You put a tick mark on the relevant column. Then the second, the appreciation of the poem is clearly presented with examples from the poem. The appreciation in this poem, you include all the examples. Then the third, ideas and comments are relevant. Your ideas about the poem, messages are relevant. The message of the poem is brought out and ideas are well connected. And the message of the poem and your ideas are well connected. Make sure that. Then the overall structure is clear. The overall structure of this appreciation is clear. Words and expressions are appropriately used, and make sure that you implement all these words, use all these words and expressions very appropriately. Then the last point is the poetic techniques and devices used are identified and clearly elaborated, and make sure that all these poetic devices and all these points are relevantly or clearly included in your appreciation of the poem. So today we learned a beautiful poem of Sarojini Naidu, that is Song of a Dream. In this poem she tells us that she is in a magical world, that is her dream world. She wanted to get rid of all the injustice life in our country. Now she wanted to get rid of this, and she wanted to live in a world with peace, truth, love, etc. So here we stop our poem and today's class. Hope you all understand the poem. Thank you.